Hi, my name is Shannon Presti. I'm the Director of Teen Leadership Initiatives for the YMCA of Greater Oklahoma City, and today I'm going to talk about the Fears and Cheers session. This is a really fun session that you actually get to kind of get a little bit further into talking about college directly. So we will arrive to the school about 10 minutes early like normal, so you can check in and make your way to the classroom on time. And the lead mentor will open up the classroom discussion to share what we'll talk about today, which will be goals for college and the college experience in general, some things that they're excited about, some things they're nervous about, some things maybe they're not sure about and want to ask questions. And then we'll break into our small groups. And in the small groups, you'll have a discussion about goals. So I encourage each of you to come to the session with one or two goals that maybe you have achieved or maybe a goal that you didn't achieve, and maybe talk through some of the steps and kind of the journey of achieving that goal. Or you could talk about a goal that wasn't achieved and maybe some reasons why, because you didn't take the appropriate steps or whatnot. Also explaining to them that writing down a goal is really important, and if you write down a goal, you're much more likely to achieve it. So with that in mind, you'll start the session or the activity, and we'll have a front and back sheet. On the front side, it's called My Goals and Dreams, and on it has some really basic information. So things like, is college part of my plan? Some other things as simple as, where would you like to live? What kind of car would you like to drive? What kind of money would you like to make? Things like that to get them thinking about, if they want to drive a Ferrari and live in LA, but they want to be a school teacher, those things probably don't line up. Or maybe if they think they're gonna bring home the bank making $50,000 a year, which could be a really great salary, but for their dreams, and if they don't really line up, maybe you guys could talk about that. Remember that some of these students, they might know what their parents make, and so let's say that their parents make $25,000 or $26,000 a year. If they think, okay, if I double that and I make $55,000 a year, I'm going to be bankrolling, So kind of putting those things into perspective in terms of what they want to make, or maybe they want to make $1 million, but they don't want to work very hard, or maybe they don't want to go to college. So those are some things to think about when you're doing the goals and dreams sheet. After that, you're going to have them flip the page over, and it's a page called Fears and Cheers, and this is directly related to college. And we want them to put down things that they're really excited about and maybe that they're really nervous about. And this will kind of bring about some things that maybe they've never thought about. So for example, when I work with my students, I remind them that I was the first person in my family to go to college. And for me, the biggest worry was finances, because my parents didn't have a lot of money, and I was really worried about that when I got to school. How am I going to pay for it? What if I don't have enough money to eat? And kind of going through some of those things and talking about my fears. But I was so excited to be the first person in my family to go to college, but also to graduate. So I can kind of talk about those fears and cheers. So think about your college experience as well. When you were a freshman in high school, or maybe even a senior in high school, what are some things that maybe you were excited or fearful about when you were their age? And then if you have time, have them ask you questions. And throughout the session, ask them questions, or have them ask you questions, such as, if they're not interested in asking questions, I say, okay, so you guys don't want to know about parties, or you guys don't want to know about a sorority or a fraternity, or you don't want to know about what it's like working part-time, or you don't want to know what it's like on graduation day. And so I kind of bring up some questions that maybe they can ask, and then they want to know about all of that stuff. So sharing in an appropriate way, be mindful of what you're sharing with the students related to college, but do talk about the parties, and maybe if you partied too hard, let them know that that really affected your grades, or if you chose not to go because you wanted to be the first person in your family to graduate college. Just share your experiences and answer in as well as you can the questions that they have, especially like what it's like to live in the dorms or dorm food. Get them talking about those things, because those are things that many students haven't ever thought about, and they only know what they've seen on TV, which is not the reality that we want them to have. So that's it for this session. If you're a lunch school, you'll start serving lunch and recapping the session. If you're not a lunch school, just go ahead and recap, bring up some of the points that the students had or brought up, or maybe some questions. And if you don't know the answer to something, don't make anything up. As usual, tell them that you'll get back to them and we'll find the answer for them.